Good evening, you're watching the Ukraine Brief on TVP World. It has been 1,378 days since Russia began its full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Here's the latest. We begin with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy visiting Ireland as United States negotiators held talks in Moscow. At a press conference, Zelenskyy said he is waiting for signals from the United States team. His stop in Dublin is his first official trip to Ireland since the two countries established diplomatic relations.
I am ready to receive all signals, ready to meet with President Trump. Everything depends on today's conversations. They want to report to us immediately after their meetings. I think that the future and next steps depend on these signals, whatever they are. The steps will change throughout the day, even, I think, by the hour. First of all, I want to say that there will be no easy solutions. We understand what is happening. We understand who we are dealing with. The question is not the complexity of making decisions. Whoever is capable of making them will make them. I am capable of making decisions. It is important that all this is fair and open, so that there is no game behind Ukraine's back, so that nothing is decided without Ukraine about us, about our future.
Russian leader Vladimir Putin met on Tuesday with United States Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner at the Kremlin. Putin's aide Yuri Ushakov and envoy Kirill Dmitriev were also at the meeting. Before the talks, Putin warned Europe it would face swift defeat if it went to war with Russia, and he dismissed European counterproposals on Ukraine as unacceptable to Moscow. He previously described the discussion as a possible basis for future agreements, but said that if Ukraine rejects a deal, Russia could push further. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte on Tuesday said that while Ukraine applied for NATO membership in 2022, the alliance still lacks the consensus needed to admit the country.
Ukraine clearly applied for membership, but we also know, as I said, and this is a statement of practicality and a statement of fact, that there is no unanimity within the alliance about Ukraine coming in the alliance. And that's one of the reasons when it comes to a future peace deal, we are discussing how, if not NATO membership, how we can make sure that Ukraine is protected in a way by itself, but also with help from others, so that the Russians will not try again. Let's hope that we get to a point where there is a peace deal. And at the moment, it is the Americans very much pushing for that, and I commend them, and we are closely coordinating with the Americans and being helpful wherever we can as NATO to get that peace deal done. And of course, they are, as you know, closely in discussions with Ukrainians. There are discussions today with the Russians.
As the battle for Pokrovsk continues in eastern Ukraine, Russia launched a relatively small number of drones overnight. Ukraine's air defense says it shot down 39. Reports say about 20 strikes hit 8 locations across the country. Here's the latest update on the attacks in Kharkiv and the Donetsk regions. Over the past 24 hours, Russian forces attacked several communities and their civilians in the Kharkiv region by deploying various types of drones. Yesterday, 3 drones struck the Bliznyuki community, damaging residential houses. Also, in a separate attack, an FPV drone hit a car in a Zolochev community, wounding 2 men with shrapnel. In the Donetsk region, a Russian drone struck a 9-story residential building in Kramatorsk, killing 1 person and triggering a large fire. Emergency services evacuated the remaining residents from the 1st and 8th floors, where the fire primarily burned. Rescuers extinguished the blaze and completed emergency operations today. According to the State Emergency Service, Russian forces repeatedly shelled the site, forcing crews to halt their work. Total of 35 tons of debris were cleared. In Konstantinivka today, Russian forces attacked a civilian woman with an FPV drone. Wounded and bleeding, she managed to reach police medics unit, who provided urgent aid and evacuated her to a hospital. On Monday, First Lady Olena Zelenskyi and Foreign Minister Andrei Sybiha joined French officials for an event urging the return of Ukrainian children forcibly deported by Russia during the war. First Lady Olena Zelenskyi said that Ukraine has so far brought back 1,859 children abducted by Russia. She emphasized that Ukraine has created an international coalition for the return of Ukrainian children, which now includes a total of 42 countries: the EU, the Council of Europe, and the OSCE Parliamentary Assembly. The coalition's function is to locate and safely return abducted children. France will deepen its support and help develop reintegration programs for Ukrainian children who have survived deportation and occupation. The French foreign minister announced that with the French government's support, a rehabilitation center for returned children will be opened in Cherkasy, a city located in central Ukraine.
Ukrainian children were ripped from their families. They were forced into adoption. Russia wanted to re-educate them and brainwash them so that they became opponents of Ukraine. It's of course an attempt of Vladimir Putin's Russia to erase Ukraine's soul and main treasure.
According to Ukraine's National Children of War database, at least 19,546 Ukrainian children have been abducted from Russian-occupied territories and taken to Russia or Russian-controlled areas since the full-scale invasion began back in February of 2022. The database has also recorded 2,226 missing, 48,328 found, 2,279 wounded, 673 dead, and 20 sexually abused children. And that's a beat from Ukraine. Thank you for watching and stay with us for more on TVP World and tvpworld.com.